The Redmi Note 10, despite its huge battery, is slim and narrow. The materials are mostly plastic, but it is IP53 rated, so it can survive water splashes. The frame is metallic, while the rear panel has a glass-like finish. Please note that this is prone to fingerprints and smudges, so better take advantage of the case included in the package. The Redmi Note 10 comes in onyx gray, pebble white, and lake green colors. The unit that we have on hand sports the onyx gray colorway, the same as the Redmi Note 10 Pro. We also have a protruding camera module housing quad rear cameras that are identical to the Redmi Note 10 Pro. On the right are the volume keys and power/lock button, which doubles as the fingerprint scanner. We have the triple card tray for 2 nano-sized SIM cards and a micro SD card on the left. Up top there's a loudspeaker, the signature IR blaster, and secondary microphone. While underneath, we'll find here the 3.5mm audio jack, main microphone, USB-C port, and loudspeaker. The device is slippery but light, weighing 178.8 grams and measures 8.29mm thick. It's compact enough for one-handed use. For display, the Note 10 features a 6.43-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED dot display screen with thin bezels. Looking at it side by side with the Note 10 Pro, its punch hole is slightly bigger, and above that you can find an earpiece. And as for protection, it's covered with Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Keep in mind though that it doesn't come with a pre-installed screen protector, so you'll have to purchase that separately if you want additional protection. The display settings allow you to choose between auto mode, saturated, and standard. You also have the option to adjust the color temperature and white balance. Now, the display quality is pretty good. It has great contrast, vibrant colors, deep blacks, and is bright enough for outdoor use. So scrolling through social media, browsing photos, and even just swiping around the home screen provides a pleasurable experience. As for audio quality, the Redmi Note 10 features dual speakers, but the speaker above the earpiece has a lower volume than that of the bottom. The sound is also noticeably louder than the Pro variant and has a more balanced mix of mid and high frequencies, but lacks bass as expected of phones in this price segment. For its operating system, the Redmi Note 10 runs on MIUI 12.0.2 based on Android 11. Pre-installed apps include Amazon Shopping, Booking.com, IQYI, LinkedIn, Mi Remote, and the usual apps from Google such as YouTube, Gmail, Drive, Photos, and the like. It also has a dedicated dark mode that can be toggled on in the settings. Storage-wise, we're getting 128GB of space with a usable 107 gigs out of the box. Now, when it comes to internals, powering the Redmi Note 10 is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 678 with an Adreno 612 GPU. The Note 10 has 2 RAM and storage options, 4 and 6GB of RAM, and 64 or 128GB of internal storage. Performance is excellent, switching through apps while having multiple ones open in the background. There's a minimal warmth around the phone when it comes to gaming, and for the gameplay itself, we played Call of Duty Mobile and Asphalt 9. We've noticed some occasional frame drops at its highest settings available, but we recommend lowering down the graphics settings if you want the smoothest performance possible. If you want to know more, we'll flash the benchmark scores right now. The Redmi Note 10 comes with the usual connectivity features such as dual SIM, Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 5.1, sat-nav systems, a USB Type-C port, an IR blaster, fingerprint scanners, and of course the lovely 3.5mm audio jack. Keeping the Note 10 running is a large 5000 mAh capacity battery, which is great for an affordable daily driver. The PC Mark battery test rates it at 19 hours and 11 minutes, while the video loop test gave us a total of 17 hours and 10 minutes of playback. If you're a light user, then the Note 10's battery life should be more than enough for your daily needs. Now, let's talk about camera. The Redmi Note 10 comes with a quad camera consisting of a 48MP main, an 8MP ultra-wide, a 2MP macro, and another 2MP for depth sensing, while the 13MP front cameras can handle selfies very nicely. We actually got some awesome daylight photos, with images capturing a lot of detail and is also quite sharp. But when it comes to color reproduction, the reds and greens are more vibrant. And while the ultrawide does have an okay quality, it still is useful since edge distortion is not too jarring. In portrait shots, the subject background separation is not that good, and there's a tendency to get noisy when taken in situations without plenty of light. Likewise, the macro shots are also not as good as we expected, but it is still usable. For low light shots, the device won't require you to stay still to capture a photo, But when it comes to quality, it's hazy in some situations. So you'll need some patience on this if you want to get the best shot. When it comes to selfies, the natural skin tone is retained and it doesn't go overboard with the beauty mode on. Portrait mode also has an excellent subject background separation, and you could also adjust the aperture and blur style depending on what you prefer. For videos, you can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second. The quality is sharp with good colors, but it doesn't have any optical stabilization, so you better hope those hands are steady or use a tripod if you want to have a better steady video. Overall, the Redmi Note 10 is a pretty impressive device for something priced under 10,000 pesos. It delivers reliable performance, comes with a punchy AMOLED display, has good battery life, and is also IP53 rated. But the lack of 5G may be a downer for some, which is a feature that is reserved for the Redmi Note 10 5G model. But this could be a great device for users who are on a budget and do not see 5G as a necessity for the next year or so.